Hello, and welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to get our hands dirty and break down exactly how you can grow your own chilies. And you know what the best part is? You can do this right at home in a simple pot. No huge garden required.
So, if you're ready to turn up the heat in your kitchen with some fresh, homegrown flavor, you are definitely in the right place. Okay, let's get into it. So here's the roadmap for today. We're going to start with the basics, then move on to planning and care. We'll tackle some common challenges, and then we'll finish with the best part, the harvest.
First things first, right? We got to set you up for success. And that all starts with two really key decisions: picking the right kind of chili and planting it at the right time.
Before you even think about dirt, you got to ask yourself, what am I going to do with all these chilies? See, some varieties are fantastic for both eating fresh and for drying out to use later. Others, well, they're really bred to be enjoyed fresh. Knowing how you'll use them makes picking the perfect plant a whole lot easier.
Now, the good news is you can grow chilies in pots pretty much any time of year. But here's a little pro tip for you. Try to avoid having your young plants out there during the absolute peak heat of summer, around June to August. It's a simple little trick that helps you dodge a ton of common pest problems. Just sow your seeds about a month before you plan to get them in their final pot, and you'll be on track for your first harvest in about 2.5 months.
Okay, so you've picked your variety, you've perfected your timing, now it's time to actually plant. Getting this part right is like building a strong foundation for a house. It is absolutely essential for healthy, productive plants.
So, the ideal soil mix. It has a secret ingredient: charcoal. You're going to want a mix of equal parts topsoil and compost. But adding that half part of charcoal, that's a total game changer. It keeps the soil from getting all compacted and waterlogged, and it gives your plant's roots the oxygen and drainage they absolutely need to thrive.
So where's this chili plant gonna live? A 10-kilogram poly sack or just a plastic pot is perfect. You're looking for something that's about 14 inches across and 15 inches high. That size gives the roots plenty of room to grow down deep. But the single most critical feature, and I mean this, it absolutely must have drainage holes at the bottom. No exceptions.
All right, let's put it all together. Step 1, mix your perfect soil. Step 2, fill up that pot. Step 3, and here's another key tip: plant your young seedling in the evening. This lets it settle in overnight without the stress of the hot sun. And finally, step 4. Give it a good drink of water right away and maybe a little temporary shade for a day or two, just to help it adjust to its new home.
Okay, so your chili plant is in its new home. Now, the real relationship begins. This next phase is all about that consistent care that's going to help your plant flourish and produce an amazing harvest.
The one thing you really have to watch when you're growing in containers is the water. Because the soil is limited, pots can dry out way faster than a garden bed. Your job is just to keep that soil consistently moist, but not soaking wet. If you happen to have drip irrigation, that's perfect, because it delivers water slowly right to the roots. If not, just check the soil every day, especially when it's hot out. Now, if you want a truly massive harvest, you've got to feed your plant. Every 2 weeks or so, add about 5 to 10 grams of a good fertilizer. Just make sure to sprinkle it around the base of the plant, don't let it touch the stem, and then gently mix it into the topsoil. And as you start to see those little chilies forming, you can give it an extra boost by spraying a liquid feed right on the leaves.
And hey, don't forget the simple stuff. Pull out any weeds that pop up. Gently loosen the top layer of soil every now and then. That helps with air and water flow. And as the soil naturally settles over time, just top it off with a little bit more of your growing mix. Easy.
Look, every gardener faces challenges, and it's no different with chilies. But don't you worry. Knowing your enemy is half the battle, and we're about to cover the most common threat and exactly how to defend your plant against it.
If you grow chilies, I can almost guarantee you're going to run into this at some point: leaf curl. It really is the #1 issue. It makes the new leaves get all twisted and deformed, and it's usually caused by tiny little pests sucking on the leaves. But it can also be a sign of a virus.
And here's where you get to become a plant detective. The way the leaf curls can actually tell you who the culprit is. It's so cool. If the leaves curl upwards, you're probably dealing with aphids. If they curl downwards, it's mites. And if they fold up into a little boat shape, you're looking at thrips. It's a fantastic little visual guide.
So how do you fight back? Well, prevention is your best weapon. Always start with strong, healthy seedlings. The second you see an infected leaf, just snip it off. A strong jet of water from a spray bottle can actually blast a lot of pests right off the plant. And for ongoing protection, a weekly spray with a simple neem oil solution can work wonders.
Okay, you've chosen, you've planted, you've nurtured, and you've defended your chili plant. Now, for the moment we have all been waiting for, the reward for all your hard work.
So let's look at the timeline. After you plant your 30-day-old seedling, you can expect to start picking your very first fresh chilies in about 75 to 80 days. And it doesn't just stop there. A healthy plant will keep on producing for you for a solid 4 to 6 months. It just keeps on giving.
So, after all that care, what's the final payoff? You might be surprised. From just one well-cared-for pot, you can expect to harvest between 1.5 and 2 kilograms. That's up to 2,000 grams of fresh chilies. That is an incredible amount of flavor from a single pot.
And that's really all there is to it. You now have the complete roadmap, from a tiny seed to a massive, spicy harvest. So the only real question left is, what amazing dish are you going to cook first? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.